Ciao friends, my name is Joey. Today I am working with our friends at Jesse James Beads and I'm almost breathless. I'm so excited about their brand new collection called Coquette. It is kind of Victorian vibe. It is French inspired, very vintage and very sweet and girly with beautiful light, gorgeous colors. So I'm going to be working with this wonderful bead. It's a filigree heart crystal. It's double-sided. It's just absolutely amazing. I can't help myself. I've already been playing with how to string it, and I'm going to do a little something unusual. It has a hole up the middle, and that's really how it's meant to be strung, but I was playing with getting my bead stringing wire through the top so that I can actually work with it in both directions. So I'm going to do that, and this is going to be a necklace, if I didn't say. I'm so excited. And this is the pink Cotton Candy Dreams chain reaction, and that's going to be the back of my necklace, but I'm also going to disassemble it. In fact, we can go ahead and do that. I'm going to put my clasp right here, so I'm going to cut away this little pink crystal. I'm going to get it off of here, and I'm going to use it in the focal of my necklace, and this is where my clasp is going to be. So we can go ahead and get that ready. So I'll go ahead and put my clasp in this little pot. I just have some jump rings and I have some number 2 crimp tubes and a lobster claw clasp. And what I'm going to do with the jump rings, this might be a little bit backwards that I'm doing the clasp first, but I already know what I'm going to do with the design. So let me show you. I am going to just link these jump rings together to create an extender chain. So I'm just going to open them and just literally link them. And I'm going to take one side of my chain reaction and make that the extender chain side. And so this way with jump rings, you can make as long or short of an extender chain as you want. Okay, so that side of the back of my necklace is done, and then on the other side I will simply add my lobster claw clasp. So I want both sides of my chain part of my necklace to be exactly the same, and this beaded section I want to attach to this chain. So I'm going to have to remove a few links here of this beautiful chain reaction just because it's going to not keep my pattern the same on both sides of my necklace, but I love to make earrings when I have a small piece of chain. That little bit won't come out. Okay, I love to make earrings, and this is perfect because there are 4 links left over, so perfect to cut them in half and make a little pair of earrings. So I'm going to set that in my dish and clean up these little bits, and my extra crystal is going to get added right here. So my necklace part is ready and I'm going to start stringing, but before I do, I want to prepare a couple of the components that I'm making for the stringing. So in this Coquette collection, there are these beautiful, they do look vintage, but they almost have a cloisonne look to them. They're enameled. You can see the tiny bit of gold. And what's so amazing about them is not only this amazing, beautiful shape, but they have a hole that you can string horizontally, but also vertically. And I'm going to use both holes. So I'm going to do another one of these connectors and have those ready for when I'm stringing. So I just took a ball head pin and went right down the top of that little component, and then I'm going to do, let's see, I did a really small, let me look at my loop. I'm going to do a really small simple loop here, so just give that a bend, put my round nose pliers in here and bring it over the plier, rotate and just bring it around. And then I'm just going to snip right here where the loop comes back and touches the wire. And let's see, am I going to I'm going to not close that one because I did a wire wrapped loop on this one. Okay, and so next I'm going to get another ball head pin, and I'm just going to repeat this little stack of beads. And I'll be using this gorgeous bead mix. It had these tiny little seed pearls, some beautiful little like pale orange bead caps, some satiny pearls in this really soft green. There were a couple of crystals in this mix, a couple of gemstone cubes. It's just a lovely fresh spring mix, and I'm going to be using that. And you know, if you guys are ones that get the Magical Mystery Bead Box, I make and make and make, and my little pots are never empty. It is magical. So I have just pulled a couple of things from our recent Magical Mystery Bead Box to use as spacers. This was called Constellations, some little disc spacers. And so that's what my extra findings are. It just amazes me how nobody does a bead mix like Jessie James Beads. And I say that all the time, but it feels like you just make endlessly, and these little pots don't ever go empty. It's incredible. So that's what I'm using. I'll show you my little stack here. I'm going to take one of these beautiful pearls, and then let me get one of these beautiful bead caps. It's really dainty. This was from our Degas Magical Mystery Bead Box a couple months ago. And I'm going to face that bead cap down, and I'm going to do a little wire wrapped loop here. And tuck in my little cut end, and that little really sweet little component. This Coquette collection is absolutely delicious. I just love it so much. It is so me. I love vintage things. I love the Victorian era. I love the vintage things of the 50s and 60s. This is just timeless elegance for me. I just love it. So I'm just adding that to this simple loop at the bottom, close it really well, work harden, and so my two components are ready for stringing. Okay, and then I'm just going to do a little bead pattern. I'm going to work from both sides. As I said, I've found a little spot in the top of this crystal heart through the filigree, and I'm going to just do a little bead pattern. I'm going to do 3 pearls on each side. So I've strung one side just so that you could see the pattern that I decided on and how beautifully the little components that I made fit, and the pearls just fit in there beautifully, and also so you could see the alternation of gold and silver throughout the piece. I'm going to do that, and so I'm going to, now that you've seen where I'm going, I'm going to put a little clamp here and string the other side exactly the same. And so this is where you get so much dimension. I put the 3 pearls and then this beautiful component that we made, and that's going to be the center focal. And then 3 more pearls, and I'm just going to repeat that pattern on both sides. I'm just finishing with 3 pearls. So my piece looks like that. I can move this little dish out of the way now, and I am going to crimp this, and then we're going to further embellish this crystal here. But I just love the way this piece looks. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to take one of my number 2 crimp tubes and put it right here and make a loop. And on the first side, I don't need to worry about my spacing, just to get my loop in there. If I didn't mention, I'm using 19 strand silver bead stringing wire. 49 strand would work here, anything that you have. But I did like the silver. I just think it kind of disappears and it becomes part of the design. So I'm going to use my magical crimping plier here. I'm going to come here and fit that tube right in the center of the single divot in this tool. This is kind of like riding a bicycle. Once you feel what it feels like when you're right in the center, you will be able to do this whenever you need to crimp. So that is pretty good. I'm going to close the tool, and then I've made a little square and pinched the 4 corners, and now I'm going to do the same thing in the opposite direction. Just make sure that I feel it just went right in the center, and now close it again, and now just maintain the position of your crimp tube and go around a few times, opening and closing your tool. And when you take this away, you have this beautiful, perfect little bead that looks a little bit like an 11-0 seed bead. I love this because a non-jewelry maker cannot tell how this piece is held together with the magical crimping plier. And I'm just going to snip and do the same thing on this side, only this time I do want to pay attention not to be too push it down too tight or make it too rigid. It's a good idea not to crimp in a straight line, kind of let things be curved. So I'm just going to repeat the exact same thing on this end. Crimp tube, make a loop, and crimp. Just make sure it's nice and loose before I crimp, and also that I got my loops pretty close to the same size. So I am ready to attach to my chain. I'm going to take 2 more of the jump rings that I did in the back and just attach this to the bottom of the chain. And the fun thing about this design is that I use the full length of my chain reaction, my pink cotton candy dreams, but you could adjust this to make this more of a choker style. You could really, you could do a little bit more beading on your focal section and make it longer. It's very, very adjustable to your personal style. Okay, I just love it. I think it's absolutely just such a stunning piece, but how could it not be with supplies like this? But we are not done. I still want to embellish this heart focal a little bit further. So I have taken a couple of silver ball head pins and I'm going to do a little embellishment here. So on the top one, let's see, on the top one, I have taken a silver ball head pin and a little tiny spacer bead. This mix was absolutely amazing from the Magical Mystery Bead Box. It was just like packed with all kinds of metal findings, and it is amazing how such a small spacer adds such an impact. But I'm going to take that and feed it right down through the hole of my heart, and right here I am going to do a simple loop. So I'm just going to give that wire a bend just like that and just get a simple loop in here, a small one. I just want a little place to add one more dangle to my necklace. So I made that little loop, and I'm just going to come right here and snip right where it meets the other wire. And now I'm going to play with a little stack. I'm going to use this one crystal that I removed from my chain reaction and play with a little gold and silver mix. Let's see if I want to do this little flower at the bottom. just alternating gold and silver as I have done through the whole piece. Let's see. That is perfection. And I have one more of those little spacer beads that's at the top. It's amazing how small they are, but they add so much. And I think I'm also going to add a pearl just to keep everything going. That is so pretty. And then same thing here. Well, here I think I'll do a wire wrapped loop. So just get a hold of my wire, give it a 90-degree bend, put my round nose pliers in, bring that wire over the top barrel, rotate my pliers, bring that wire around, just make sure that loop is centered on my stack of beads, and then wrap down to my beads. So get a hold of that loop and just wrap right down to my beads. As we always do, trim, clean up my mess a little bit, trim and tuck that little cut in so it's not seen or felt. And so I have that beautiful little drop, and I'm going to come right here to my simple loop that I made and open it and add in that drop. Make sure that loop is closed really well, and I like to open and close my pliers with a little bit of force to work harden things. And look at that, you guys. This is so gorgeous. It's absolutely delicious. This whole collection is absolutely delicious. It's the softest colors. Everything is just so gorgeous and embellished. I love it. I have to do one more thing. For me, when I have an extender chain, I cannot stand for the last link of my extender chain to be naked. I always feel like I need to put a little embellishment. So I have taken another one of the gold ball head pins, again in the interest of alternating gold and silver through the whole piece. And I just did a little stack with the pearls and this little spacer bead. And I'm going to do another little wire wrapped loop here and just add that to the last ring on my extender chain. Same thing, just tuck that little cut end, and it is just so sweet. And you know, these little details really add quality to our work. But if you have any vintage jewelry, you'll see that these kind of things, these little details like on the back of the neck, that's part of the quality of this era that this collection represents. So it just adds a little dangle to the last part of the chain. And so this can either just dangle behind the neck as an embellishment, or you can get a little bit more length. And as I said, you can add as many jump rings as you want to create your extender chain. And I will put some better pictures up at the end of the video so you can see how gorgeous this piece is. And I thank you so much for watching. Check the description box. There will be links to the Jessie James Beads website there, and I really think you will love browsing this new collection. It's absolutely stunning. It's just delicious. One thing is prettier than the next. So I really think you'll enjoy browsing the Jessie James Beads website and looking at all of these gorgeous pieces. So I hope everybody's safe and well and having fun on your beading mats. See you in the next video.